Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome, 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 everyone, everybody, to a live episode of Office Hours with Sharon. Today is Thursday, December the 11th, 2025, and it is a great day to be alive and well and breathing. Because if you're breathing, you've been blessed with another day. You might not feel that great in your body sometimes. Things might not be going according to the plan that you had. Life might not be the way you might want it right now, or everything could be clicking on all cylinders. However, it's going for you, today is a great day because God made it and He doesn't make anything that's not great. Now, what we do with that day, that's up to us, right? But here we give Him honor, we give Him glory, we give Him praise for just allowing us to see another day. And you know what? With that new day, that fresh day, that fresh 24, we get a fresh start to do it better today than yesterday. So when we wake up tomorrow, those of us who will, we get another fresh start to do it better tomorrow than today. And so that leads me into our topic and our special guest tonight. We want to do and be better. But in order to do that, we need a roadmap, right? And we know that our roadmap ultimately comes from the Lord. So he says, make your plans, but submit them to Him. So we're on week two, part two of making that plan for the upcoming year and beyond with our therapeutic envisioning experience with our special therapist, LPC, dance movement therapist, wellness coach, Romain Diaz. She will be joining us shortly. And she came on last week and started us off with week one. This is a 3 week series, and we are in week two. So if you haven't told your friends, tell them now, because this is a powerful, powerful experience like no other type of vision board. And I'm not saying that because this is on my platform. I'm saying this because it is true, because she's a licensed therapist, and it's more than just what do I want to accomplish in 2026. It's so much more than that. It's getting to know you, where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and all that entails from a therapeutic perspective. And so, it's much more deep when a therapist does it. All right. And so, specifically tonight, it is the making. Right. And I'm going to read what Romain put here so I don't get it wrong. The making, creative visioning, and embodied expression. And so when Romain comes on, she's going to review briefly what we did last week to bring you into today for those of you who may not have joined us last week, so you can catch up. But you can also catch up by just watching last week's episode on YouTube. So without further ado, because we want to get right into this, because I'm excited about creating this vision board, we are going to welcome to the stage our wonderful, illustrious, beautiful, intelligent
Yes,
Romain
yes.
Diaz. Hey, Romain, how are
Hi,
you?
hi, Sharon. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. So good to see you.
Yeah, you too, you too. We are excited. We've been checking in the last couple of days, getting everything
Yes.
prepared for today. And
Mm-hmm.
we had our own discussions and conversations about what we are doing today. And I'm just so super excited. And
Yeah.
um, before we jump into everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a therapist, I do this in my own practice with my clients. I say, let's recap last session, right? What are some of the things that came up? Because sometimes when you in session, you go, "Ooh, that was, a lot that I impact," or ask, any changes in your mood, thoughts, and behavior since last session, so we can kind of touch on that a little bit before we move forward. Um,
Right.
so we're going to definitely do a recap. And last week we put so many questions up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon, you did a good job of getting out there. I was
I
throwing
was trying.
I was throwing those questions out there, and I know it was a couple. So for those that were here with us last week, pull out your journal. If you want to share anything with us, please do that. Feel free to put it in the chat. We have some people joining us. Hello,
Yes.
honey
Honey Bunches says
bunches.
shalom, shalom.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
shalom, Honey Bunches.
Yes, yes. And so we asked a couple of different questions, and I'm just going to throw some of them out there for those who were not here last week. And some of the questions were, um, what are some of the things that stop you from being in the here and now? And we're going to talk about that in a little bit as we're creating our vision board, right? We also talked about things that just kind of get in the way. What are the barriers? Is it fear of success, fear of failure, a little bit of a procrastination, right? Um, who am I today? Not who I was, not who I'm trying to be, but who I am right now, right? And what has this year taught you about yourself? So, just a
Mhm.
couple of questions. We had a couple more, but those are some of the ones that we tackled last week. So today we are getting into creation. Sharon, what do you think about that word when you first hear the word creation?
Well, as soon as you said it, I thought about God creating creation,
Mm,
creating everything, the heavens and the earth and everything in between. That's my immediate thought, right? Creating us, right? And then us creating life as well.
yeah,
So that's the first thing that I thought of when I thought about creation.
yes. And guess what? That's not always easy, you know. Um,
Hmm.
it's not easy. We have things that might get in the way. We might have our vision. We might have moments where we doubt ourselves in our creation. So we
Hmm.
want to make sure, or some people don't understand why you're creating that, right? And sometimes not for them to understand, it's for you to understand the
Hmm.
purpose, right? And that can get into a little bit of self-doubt. So we are designing today our vision with intention.
Okay.
What do we mean by that? Intention. What do you think?
I use that word probably every show, if not,
Throwing
it's
it out
definitely every other show.
there. Uh-huh.
Like being intentional, because nothing will change unless we're intentional. We're just going to do what our habits are,
Right.
right? What we easily fall into, our comfort place, our comfort zone. Even if it's something that's not healthy, we do unhealthy things that are in our comfort zone, but
Right.
that's where I'm comfortable, right?
Right.
And so if we're intentional about whatever it is, then it good or bad,
Right.
right?
Right.
Then that's the result that we're going to get. If I'm intentional about overeating, then I'm going to be unhealthy, overweight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm intentional about I want to be healthier with my eating habits and
Mhm.
and healthier fitness wise, and so therefore I go down that road of eating better, nutritionally, exercise, or whatever, whichever side of the intense I'm on, that's the result I'm going to get. So
Yeah,
it's doing something on purpose,
for sure. For
with
sure.
purpose.
Yes. And for your purpose. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I want us to think about as we're creating today, to think about, is your design, your vision, is it intentional? Do you have a purpose? Right. Um, so first things first, whoever was here last week and would like to give us a little message in the chat. What are some of the things that came up last week in this meeting together about this vision board, right? What did you notice about yourself this week, right? What came up? What did you notice? I noticed some
Yeah.
things within myself uh,
Hmm.
this week, um, and I know for me, over the years, I've definitely got a lot better. But change can be challenging for me,
Hmm.
right? I know it has to happen. I know that it will happen.
Right. One way or the other.
I'm not naive to that, right? I know all of those things, but it doesn't. It's not difficult.
Hmm.
And sometimes I just need to somebody just acknowledge. I just need to get it out real quick. I know, when I was working in the hospital, and it was change all the time with a lot of different
Hmm.
things. That's a show for another day. Um,
Right.
but I used to tell my boss, they'll say, "Oh, we're gonna change this whole unit today to something else," and I go, "Oh my god!" I would like just give me a minute to like get my complaints out there. Like,
Right.
this is da, 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 right? And they just like, well, I mean, well, just go with it. Just go. I'm like, I'm going to go with it, but I am going to
Hmm.
let you know how it's a hot mess and blah, blah, right? So,
Right.
and why is change such a difficult thing, right? So,
Yeah.
if that's something you also are dealing with out there, really process, where does that come from? Where did that start? where that particular barrier, and I'm just using change as a barrier,
Mm-hmm.
started to become so difficult or anxiety producing or stressful,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I
Yeah.
say, hey, what showed up for you this week as you started to think about these journal questions and prompts
Mm-hmm.
to come here today, what came up for you?
Okay.
All right. All right. Now we are going to shift into thinking about how some of these areas are going to align. So, all right, if you're out there with your pencil and your paper, we did say come today prepared. All
I'm
right.
prepared. I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
I got my stuff.
That's
Things. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I might have it behind me. Hold on. Sorry, I
okay. I
pivot.
wanted to because we had talked about the different mediums to use last week, and
Yes.
I wanted to do something on Canva, and I realized because I wasn't thinking, and I can still do it because I will, but I can't do Canva while I'm on the air because I gotta do the boards and whatnot. So it's like, Sharon, you have to write it down first, and behind the scenes, right during the week. I can go on Canva and do something. I was thinking I'm just going to like pull it up on another tab, and I was like, I can't do
Make it complicated. Don't make it complicated. Not at all. Not at all.
that.
And work with what you have too. Sometimes
Hmm.
we say we need this. I got to buy all these things and do all these. That's just stalling and procrastinating.
Yeah.
You don't go on no site and buy nothing. Okay.
Right. I got a plain piece of white paper and I got some colored pens.
And I was just about right. And I was just about to listen. If you need crayons or color pencils or whatever
Hmm.
you need, when that vision got to come, you write what you need.
Hmm.
So I use a lot of sticky notes too. So sticky notes are great. Um,
Yeah.
and I use so many of these. I done branched out to the giant sticky boards.
Okay.
Right. So
Uh-huh.
this I use this to kind of have my big ideas that I have
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
map it out, and then I put it in front of me so I know
Hmm.
what's going on. So anyway, that's another thing that you could use it.
Hmm.
All right,
That's a resource.
that's a resource.
Hmm. I love
So
sticky notes.
yeah, me too. Me too.
Hmm.
Um, and so let's think about. So before we get into the creation, let's think about the different areas.
Okay.
Choose what's helpful for you. All right, and where you are in your life right now. So I'm gonna throw some ideas out there. You see what sticks, what works for you.
Okay.
Also, if anybody out there has another category that I didn't mention, bring up,
Hmm.
please put it in the chat. Sharon is Karen. All right, as they say. All right. So one category is wellness, mental, physical, and spiritual. And if you even want to break that up, feel free to do so. But
Hmm.
wellness. All right. Relationships. Now, when we get to this one, some people focus on their romantic relationships, perfectly
Hmm.
fine, marriage, looking for a new relationship or partnership. But I'm also going to branch out a little bit on that. Relationships can also be my working relationships. It could
Yeah.
be my relationship with my children, with my siblings, with my parents, with my
Hmm.
aunts and uncles, or someone that you've really been struggling with lately.
Hmm.
Maybe that can be on your vision board. And we're not
Yeah.
talking about you need to save every relationship, right? But the one
Hmm.
that you see value, like we're struggling,
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
see value in it, and I want to figure out how to work this out, right?
Right.
Or find a way that I might need to, decouple from this person.
Hmm.
Um,
So value or not.
or not. Like I know it's
Hmm.
rough. It's grief and loss when you lose someone, right? It's like you
Hmm.
say, hey, I can cut somebody off quick. You know,
Right. But you're still going to go through a
you
process.
still gonna go through a process.
Yeah.
All right, we
Hmm.
might table that one. Sharon for another day too. All right, next category, career.
Hmm.
All right,
I have that one down.
career. All right, I'm gonna also put education.
I got that one down.
All right, good. Oh, this one here, and let me tell you, I just started working a little more on this a second ago before we logged in. I'm always working through my finances. Finances and
Yes.
I'm all listen, y'all. I keep saying it's a topic for another day because I have all these things that I just do on a daily basis. But
Hmm.
I just started thinking about how much money do I really need for retirement? So that's what I was
Hmm.
doing earlier today. Like, let me get a hardcore number and figure how old I am and, all these things that come into a factor of like, how much do I really need? But anyway,
Hmm.
uh,
I have a resource for you for that. Who
You
was
do?
someone who was on my Race Matter show a few weeks ago, and actually he has a Zoom tonight. It's probably still on about investing. He's a financial advisor, but I'll
Right.
give you that information.
Oh yeah, I'm on that.
Yeah.
And listen,
Mm-hmm.
I will open up a CD. I would put a, money in this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we was just doing it before we logged on. Remember, I was like, oh, let me put that deposit in there. So
Mm-hmm.
always
Hey,
think
Tiffany has a
about
comment.
these.
Tiffany says, "Yes, I'm always focused on finances."
I
Yes. Hey,
know you
Tiffany.
are. Hey, Tiffany. Nice to see you on for sure. And also want to add to this one, and thank you for plugging in that gentleman's channel to
Mm-hmm.
also think about, even if you're someone in the very beginnings of finance, never was taught, never know, I don't really know where to go, the shame and guilt around that, it can just be the beginnings of where do I go in my finances, right? I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity. Some of us in here, I just met with someone early today who's a writer and has been
Mm-hmm.
the writer's block, right? For some of us, we might be. I'm a dance movement therapist. I love to dance. I love to dance, but I also like to choreograph. That's one of my major
Mm-hmm.
things I love to do. Some people might play music or write lyrics or a play or instrument or fashion, because fashion is creativity, or into
Mm-hmm.
right, whatever you are into, maybe putting that on your vision board, getting back into your
Mm-hmm.
craft, being more creative, right? uh,
Right.
Another area I'm putting down, and I put it together, but we can also separate it if it's needed for your vision board: rest and joy.
Okay.
All right, ways that we want to provide rest to our mind and our bodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether we take, a little vacation or staycation, um, or I need to lessen my hours of the day that I'm working or doing this activity, whatever it is, but also things that bring you joy.
Mm-hmm.
I love, talking to individuals, and when you really hear some of their life stories, etc., you start to go,
Yeah.
oh, what? You was in a band? What? Or
Mm-hmm.
like the roller skate? You was in a group and you was doing when you was younger, right? And
Yeah.
people forget those things that really brought them joy, right? You
Mm-hmm.
learn so much about yourself when you just get back into back to yourself, what brings you joy.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What other categories? Anyone else have a category that they put on their vision board? I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw
Put
it
your categories in the chat if
back.
that you have on your vision board, especially with those of like Nikki said. When I say Nikki, it's her middle name. I'm her cousin, so
That's
I'm saying the same person. So
yes,
we say, who are you talking about? Nikki Romain's the same person. So they're
same
trying to remember
person.
the professional name, Romain. So when Romain says, if those of you were here last week, and
Mhm.
so maybe you may have been thinking of something, a little more in depth because of it's a therapeutic envisioning experience.
Right.
So, what are some of those things that may have come up from answering those questions that she put out there today when we recap this today? And if
Yes.
you were here last week and you thought about it all week, and then just some of the things again that as a human being, a living, breathing human being that you need to improve on, or you just want.
Yeah.
So, throw some categories in the chat. Don't be shy.
Don't be
We know
shy.
you got those categories.
Yeah, we
I'll
know.
I'll share some of mine. I think, and I'm not sure, when you said wellness, you included spiritual, but I put spiritual as my number one thing. I took it out because that's such a big piece for
Right.
me.
It's a separate, right. That's why I said we.
Hmm.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then the mental and emotional and the physical. So, mind, body, soul, spirit, because, God, a year, September 2024, had, and I think actually I mentioned this to you when you were on,
Mm-hmm.
what's that other show that I do like on Wednesday
With
nights? Faith Walk, Faith Walk, right? Where
faith
we talk
walk,
about our
right?
goals.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
God said make goals, a mind goal,
Mhm.
spiritual goal, and a physical goal. So
Correct.
I have those there for my on my vision board. And I put peace on there because that's a big thing for
Mhm.
me. And I put sleep on there because I need to improve in that area. I don't get enough sleep, proper sleep,
Yeah. Yeah.
good sleep. Sometimes
Take
I do, but
days off
because of
your
my
life
hours,
too. Hmm.
yeah. And there's a difference between sleep and rest, right? And so,
Right.
same thing, sleep and rest. I put that on mine after you mentioned it. And I think the other ones I already had: spiritual, education, wellness, career. You put relationships.
Yeah.
So I put that down because that's good. Financial I already had down, and creativity. I didn't have that down, but I put it down because a lot of times, and even when you and I spoke about you coming on, I was like, I'm not really that
I
creative,
said that you
and
are.
yeah, but because I always think of it in like an artsy type of way.
Right, right, right.
And so yeah, I don't have that talent in that way, but I think my creativity comes out in this platform.
Well, this is putting
Like
things together. You're creating
yeah,
it in your
hmm
moment. So that's
hmm
creativity, right?
right, and the different ideas and the vision that I have for it that is totally like
Right.
way what not what it is now, right? So I put that down after you said that. So because I'm always writing down the ideas that I have, and just like, oh my god, this is just going to be so amazing, right?
Right,
And
right.
that
Put
is
it out
the
there.
creativity coming out of what it is that I want to do. I mean, and God has given me some amazing ideas of what I can
Mm,
do on this platform, so I
mm.
just can't wait. So I'm glad that you
Can't
said
wait.
that,
We can't
that
wait.
creativity.
Good.
That's a
We're
good
ready.
one. Mm-hmm.
We are ready. And it's great
Mm-hmm.
that you are not just keeping it in your head and your thoughts. You're,
Mm-hmm.
you know, verbalizing
Oh
it.
yeah, I gotta write it
Write
down.
it down because then and then also not only is it real, but you also have to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Start making those steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
accountability is out there too, you guys. We're gonna throw that out there. And one of the another category uh for some of us might be identity, thinking about the roles that we play, the roles that we have, the roles that's given to us, right? In our lives, whether you're a mother or a CEO or um whatever, right? Those roles.
Mm-hmm.
And also emotional growth. And I know we could put this under wellness, but I wanted to put a little separate. And what I mean by emotional growth, and for those out there in the chat, please type in if you have some thoughts as well. I mean things that you kind of want to do a little bit better. Meaning,
Yeah.
I want to be a little patient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to
I think that's probably where all of us
right
on some level.
on some level, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll go with it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
More patient could be in all kind of ways, right? Relationships at work, with my spouse, with my partner, right?
And
Um,
with ourselves.
and with
With ourselves.
ourselves,
Giving
yes,
ourselves enough grace in our humanity, right?
yes. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, emotional growth can be, and this is a big topic, forgiveness.
Yeah.
We
I
can
think
be
that the emotional and the
mhm,
mental should always, and this is because I'm a therapist, should be
mhm.
separated out because
Right,
we forget about that. But
correct,
our psychology, our mind, our mental health, emotional well-being, that goes into everything that we do every second and every iota of every day.
correct.
But is what we neglect the most,
Yes, for
right? We
sure.
have a physical injury, we're to run into the doctor,
Running,
right?
running.
But our mind and our emotional well-being is like, not so
Yeah,
much.
not so much, right? And it is that accountability. And I'm throwing this out here, and it's definitely no shade to anyone who attempted to try this because when you need support, I guess you need support. But people have been I heard a couple people using ChatGPT or other AI sources for like therapy prompts. Like, right?
Oh yes,
Give me
yes.
I'm not mad at you. If you starting
Hmm.
to do that research, that means you know that's something you're struggling
Hmm.
with. So insight is always great, right?
Yes.
But you don't get that connection. You don't get that
Hmm.
uh that support back and forth in that what do you call it? I'm using this motion, but I gotta figure out how to say
Hmm.
how I want to say it. But you just don't get that
That human connection.
yes in that fear and that feeling of connecting
Hmm.
with your therapist or some people with their pastor or
Hmm.
spiritual leader, right?
Right, because there's a spiritual connection as well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. And so
Not
that's
just knowledge.
right. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That could just be like, right? Here we go.
Right,
All
right.
right. Draft it up for you, right? So we have our
We have a
category.
comment, Nikki, Romain, excuse me. Tiffany says, my therapist and I just went over all of this, but I
Hey,
didn't think about creativity in that way. Thanks for that. Exactly. I didn't either. So thank you, Romain.
you welcome. Good job. You and your therapist putting that work in. I love it. I love it. And
Hmm.
thank you for putting yourself out there too, because excuse me, a lot of people really struggle with going to therapy, and that's something that's real. Something
Yeah.
people feel they just want to hold their thoughts to themselves, or I don't even know what to say. What do I talk
Most
about?
of it is fear.
And it's fear, right? But
Hmm.
on the flip side, I've also seen a part of like, wow, why didn't I do this a long time ago?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you know, so we'll leave that where it is, right? And we hope that people would put themselves out there a little bit, rip the band-aid just a little bit to get
Hmm.
that help and support that they need. Okay. All
I
right.
have
So
another category before you move
yeah.
forward that I've been dealing with a lot of my clientele
Mhm.
with, and I have them put it on their goals vision board is boundaries, right? Because a lot of people
Ooh, I
struggle with
love
boundaries.
talking about
I
boundaries.
have them make that a separate category
Mm,
because they need a lot of work in that category because that's part of their problem. They allow people to cross their boundaries. So they
mm.
don't enforce their own boundaries, and that's a problem.
Ooh, see, you gonna have us in here till like 10 o'clock, and we gotta go. So we can't do that today. But I love talking
Mhm.
about boundaries. They're
Yeah,
not for the other person to go, yay, you gave me boundaries. Oh, yay. No, they're not gonna do that.
no.
It is very, in some ways, black and white. You share what
Mhm.
your boundary is, and that person do have the right to go, no, I don't
That's
like it.
right.
And they can also say, you know what, I might struggle, but the relationship isn't. I get. All right, I'm gonna work
Mhm.
on it. I'm intentionally gonna work on it. I might fall off,
Mhm.
remind me, but the relationship is very important. I'm gonna work on it, right? Um,
Mhm.
and like I said, they could say, no, I'm not gonna do it, and that's up to you at that point to go,
That's right.
hey, well, here are the next steps that I have to take, right?
Right.
And then you have
Mhm.
to stick to those next steps. So it is black and white. What happens is we had
Yes.
that little area we would go, well, you don't want to do it. Well, it's okay. Well, I guess maybe
Mhm.
I was doing. No, you
Right.
set those boundaries for a reason.
For a
For
reason.
a reason. Okay. Now,
And
Sharon,
then
why you
you're
trying to make
falling
me
back.
go there? Why you trying to make me go there when we got to stay on this? Okay.
Wait, let me add one more thing. When
Uh,
you're, because this is what I add in with the boundaries. When you move into being from a passive communicator
right.
or from an aggressive communicator to an assertive communicator, now you learn to set boundaries because people
Right.
who are assertive set boundaries.
And it's a fine line.
Hmm.
Fine line between aggressive and assertive.
Oh, yeah.
People say, well, I'm just speaking my mind. I'm not speaking my truth. Yeah,
But
you
it's
are.
how you do it.
And you're aggressive. Yes.
Exactly.
So it is
Hmm.
that fine line in regards to communication, but absolutely
Hmm.
100%. For some people that are people pleasers, right? You definitely might want to put that on your vision board because it just
Yeah.
helps you develop, the courage or self-esteem,
Hmm.
confidence. And if that's something
Right.
that, as we're talking about identity, that's important to you.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And
yeah,
where did you lose your voice? Because if you're a people pleaser, you are probably a passive communicator. You lost your voice somewhere along the way, probably in
yeah,
childhood, being overtalked, nobody listened to you, dismissed what you had to say, and you just continue those patterns into
yeah.
adulthood.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Well, I know this was one of the things I was going to mention in a little bit, but while we're on it, let's stay on this topic, barriers and accountability. So we're
Hmm.
talking about people pleasing, which is on here, right?
Hmm.
Procrastination. I just did an article last Monday, I believe, because I'm about to do an article this Monday. Last about procrastination. Check it
Hmm.
out. Good stuff. Um, on Substack. So
And Substack, what and how do you? I haven't gone on there. How do you get to Substack? What is that? Is it Substack.com? What is that?
yes, I believe. Now I got to think about it for a minute. Yeah. Yes. And so you can also just type in someone's business or their name. And so you can put Romain Diaz LLC,
Okay.
and our business profile will come up and you just hit
Okay.
subscribe. hmm
Gotcha.
So I don't know why. Yes, .com. Sorry. I just want to make sure I put that org. So yes, Substack .com.
Okay.
So I literally just did an article on procrastination. I will try to put that up for you guys as well, so you can see. And it's definitely on Facebook and LinkedIn. All right.
I need to put that on my vision board because I have some procrastinating ways.
Ah,
Not in every way, some ways, but then these other things is just like, oh.
oh, I know, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely check that out. And I'll get the link in a second and I will put that up there for you guys to see, because I think that would be really important to talk about as we're doing this vision board, right? All
Okay.
right. So I will definitely get that out to you in a second. All right. So let's check in with the next thing. Oh, this is a topic too.
Okay.
Self-sabotaging.
Mm.
Okay. I'm just throwing it out there. And then also fatigue and burnout. Fatigue and burnout is real.
Yeah,
Okay?
very.
And one of the things that's coming up for a lot in my sessions, and sometimes even for myself, is decision fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly have to make choices and decisions, and even down, I think people start getting, what we eating today?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going?
Right, right, right.
Can somebody please um, let me know I'm not the only person on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody to come back and tell me. All right. So anyway, those kind of things. So thinking about your barriers as you're creating the vision board. All right. So now
How
we are.
about imposter syndrome?
You said, "Ooh, okay,
I hear a
okay,
lot of people talking about that and thinking that, that and that anxiety that comes with that, and struggling, you
yeah,
know.
for
Mm-hmm.
sure, absolutely." That definitely gets into play. So we want to get rid of those barriers. So put them on
Mm-hmm.
your vision board because we no longer want them, right?
Right.
All right.
Hold on. Tiffany says, so true, Nikki. Decision fatigue. You got a witness there.
Once sometimes I go, I can't answer the question, or I'm like, listen, I don't care what we do right now. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's just do it. Right.
Right.
So just because your brain is just an overload, and as we talk about that rest, we need to rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. Before I share my two samples, Sharon, just on our chat, I have the
Yep.
link to the subset.
Oh,
So
okay. Thank you. Yep, I see it.
all right,
Thank
perfect.
you.
All
I'm gonna
right.
put it. Can put it in the other chat too, right? Or can let me see.
Yep, you can. Yep.
Okay.
Basic. Yep. All right, here we go. So I brought two different types of vision boards today. Now, this one, you don't have to create it each and every year, by the way. If it still applies from last year, great. If you want to put some editing, to it, because you're like, oh wow, I achieved this goal, but I still want to keep it on there. I still want to maintain it. So let me see it and add more. Great. So this one was actually a bigger poster, right? And what I did is, because I want multiple copies so I can see it and be ready to look at it when I need it and be reminded. So I took a picture of it, shrunk it down so I can have this copy on my bulletin board. So I see it in my office. I'm still a little old school, y'all. So I still have I still have my little, I'm trying to see if it's right here. It was in my bag. It's probably in my bag from earlier. But I still have my notebook. Okay. I like to write things down. So I have it in front of my notebook, a copy of it,
Mm-hmm.
fold it. So when I see it, boom, right? Put it in
Mm-hmm.
places that you'll see. Refrigerator, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Inside your closet, because you got
Mm-hmm.
a closet, right?
On your mirror in the bathroom.
You're in the bathroom, right? So that's something that you can do too for your vision board. And
Mm-hmm.
if you think about, okay, what can I put on there? If you want all words, because words are very powerful, put words on there. Find images that just align with your goal and your purpose, right? So you can cut out images, pictures, phrases. Some people actually, especially when it has to do with self, in regards to maybe things they want to get back into themselves with, they might go take a copy of a picture from back in the day where they might used to exercise or something like that. Take it, copy it, and put it on the vision board. So a picture of themselves
Mm-hmm.
or family or whatever it may be, right? To include on their vision boards. So pretty much you just want to create, uh, get images or words that align. All
And
right.
old school, if you have magazines, you cut pictures out.
Well, I'm old school, and that's what we did our vision board event in June. So I had
Mhm,
multiple pieces of paper because some people get very overwhelmed with the larger one.
mhm,
So if you want
mhm,
a shorter one, if you want a trifold, like a presentation, great.
mhm,
Um, I did get some magazines. Well, it was really hard to get some magazines. I did get some magazines. Also went on Amazon and got some images of vision board images. Other things I just arts and crafty kind of thing,
mhm.
and they went to town, right,
Right.
with that. So feel free. And in my vision board, this one I believe because I kept it for another year. This might be actually 2 years old, and I keep this because I like to look at it and go, and some encouragement. Wow,
Mhm.
I did that, right? Or some things I'm like, all right, I'm still working on that. Okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
What's the next steps? Or I am moving towards it. So
Right,
it might
right.
not be completed, but I
Mhm.
I tackled it and I'm tackling it, right?
Right.
And
And
that's
some things aren't just, there's short term and there's long term,
oh,
right?
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. I know one of the things on here that I will say that would be ongoing would be let me see. Well, as we talk about money, continue to save money, right?
Mhm.
Um creating memories, right?
Mhm.
Creating positive memories. That's ongoing. So it's not something that just stops, right?
Right.
And I have elevate. So continue to elevate. And it's not only just career. I want to hopefully elevate as a mother, as a wife,
Mhm.
as a family member. So
Right.
those things are ongoing. It's not a
Mhm.
completed and it's done kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Just at different phases of it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, who in here are that's in the virtual world on the show? Business owners. Anybody out there that's business owners or looking into being in business and being an entrepreneur? All right.
Put a one in the chat
Put
if
a one.
you're looking to be an entrepreneur or you're already an entrepreneur
Mm,
or a business owner.
correct.
I
Correct.
have a one up in the chat.
All right. Oh, yay. All right. I did this for the last 2 years. I just thought about it. Um, and wanted to implement this. So this is a different kind of vision board. So this is one from last year. I do have my practice goals for this year, 2024. But I created a practice goals. I don't know if you see that practice goals, right,
Mhm.
for 2024. And I wrote all the things that I just want to do within my business, right,
Okay.
or my team, and why this is so important and why it was a little separate from the vision. Even though it's on my vision board, I needed
Mhm.
it to be tunnel vision. Like these are
Yeah,
the
really
things,
focused.
really focus. And what I also did, so not only is it on my board with my vision board, but I also put it on my refrigerator.
Mhm.
Why did I do that? Why did I make that move? It was strategic.
Mhm.
I put my practice goals, my business goals on the refrigerator. And that is for the whole family to see
Mhm.
because I want them to see where I'm going, where I'm headed,
Mhm.
ways they could support me on that, right?
Right,
And they
right.
always do. But I just don't want to keep it to myself. I want my
Mhm.
son, my daughter, my husband to know this is what I'm working towards each and every day. And the more that you are encouraging me or keeping, helping me a little bit, helps me towards my goal.
Right. Right. Okay.
All right.
That's good.
So hold self accountable too. So if
Mhm.
you don't do something with pictures, images, you can just create a list.
Mhm.
Keep it up, right?
Yeah. That's what I previously did when I did one. I did it in my journal. Well, actually, I had a journal and it had like in the middle of the exact middle of the book, it had a space for a vision board, but you can do whatever. And I wrote words and I put God in the center, and
Mhm.
then all these things that would shoot out, which is all
Perfect.
the stuff that I wanted to achieve.
Perfect.
through that. So yeah, I use a lot of words.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So that might be helpful. So even if
Or
you feel like
quotes.
quotes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And also be very specific. Words are so powerful. So
Yeah.
it might be, and I'm putting this sense of money terms at this moment, but I'll give you another example. So it's not to say, hey, I want to make more, increase my income.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I want to increase my income by 25%. I
Right.
want to increase my income by $5,000 at the end,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, right? But being
Right.
very specific,
Mm-hmm.
intentional, right?
Yeah.
And not just being so broad. So put it out there, right? Um, I want to go to school for
Mm-hmm.
nursing, and
Mm-hmm.
so you might want to be more specific than that, like pediatric nurse.
Right.
Whatever it is being very specific and put it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Intentional, right?
we
Like
just
you
said it 10
started to show off with, right?
Right, right. Yes. So, we want to just be mindful as we're creating it that you are creating this vision board for yourself. And as
Mm-hmm.
we begin to transition in a second, um, one of the ways to use office hours with Sharon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sharon, is to bring up some of these questions during
Mm-hmm.
office hours. Talk about some of the excitement. I tell people too, you don't have to come to therapy and say everything that's bad. Say
Absolutely.
the excitement. You can also share some of the resistance. This is some of the things that is coming up for me. Um, what ways do I feel pressured or imposter syndrome? Or I'm
Mm-hmm.
really excited about this, but my partner's not excited about my vision.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you
Or
navigate that?
yep, or I'm really excited, but this might take me away from my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Really guilty and frustrated about that, right?
Right.
So come to office hours with Sharon with some of those things. And yet,
Mm-hmm.
to me, also mentioned something is
Yeah, she said that's what I do. I cut pictures out of magazines.
yes, yeah. I think that's
Yes,
fun.
me
That's personally,
too.
I think it's fun. I think it's
Uh-huh.
the colors and the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so for sure, for sure.
I
So,
do that for my future home vision because that's
ooh,
one of my decorating is just one of my favorite things to do,
ooh,
and I
talking
like
about and
architecture.
yes,
Right.
I
So
love
I have
that
how
creativity too. Hmm.
yes, exactly. That's a lot where my creativity comes into play. And that's why I subscribe to or have magazine subscriptions to all of these like home magazines.
Yeah,
And yeah, so I can't
Pinterest.
wait. Can't wait. I can't wait.
I was actually thinking about that when you said not only just the show, but you do like, uh,
Hmm.
decor and things like that and design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. One day, it's on my bucket list. I'm going to have an interior design company, right? That's on my vision board list. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You better go on it.
Hmm.
You heard it here, y'all.
Hmm.
Get it
You
out
heard it.
loud. You heard it right here live.
That's
Live
right.
for the first
That's
time.
right.
This is my first time hearing it, y'all. So I'm excited.
Hmm.
All right. Good
Yep.
job. Good job. Throwing it out there. Throwing it out there. Awesome.
Hmm.
So we want you guys to just think about this vision for yourself in 2026. Get excited about it. You
Yes.
we can actually start it today. Nobody said is a timeline. We're saying
Hmm.
2026 because we do want people to think about the next couple of months, right? So it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be January 1st. It could be today at December 11th,
Hmm.
2025.
I say the sooner the better. Why wait? Why procrastinate, right?
What do we want to hear? Why? Why?
The sooner we start, the sooner we finish.
This is correct. And we go on to the next thing and the next thing.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, we
Yeah.
just care for you so much that we just want to present this to you guys and have you start to think about some of these goals and visions and know that we are here with you, helping and supporting and in your higher power. If you have a particular faith, to just help align those things together with support so we can see this through and get to the other side, right? That we've been
Hmm.
looking and dreaming and searching for, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, are you? I don't want to jump ahead, but Was that your last thing for the
That
board
is
today?
my last thing for today.
Okay.
And um, we always have reflections. So here goes some reflection questions.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, I forgot about that. I had to look at my notes. So reflective questions for today. We also want to hold ourselves accountable. So let's bring this to the last series next Thursday, uh,
Mm-hmm.
18th, December 18th at 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Here are the reflective questions. Um, what surprised you when you created your vision? Okay. What surprised you when you created your vision? So I'm just repeating that twice. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Which part of your board speaks the loudest?
Ooh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's
This,
real good.
uh-huh, uh-huh. All right. And this next one, what part? I just got chills on this next one. Wait a minute, hold on. I don't know.
It's speaking to you. It's speaking to you.
Somebody's supposed to hear. I don't know. Supposed to hear this. What part still feels scary and foreign?
And foreign.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Some of us might have our own doubts, like that can never happen. I'm putting it on there, but I don't know if it's. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it's in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's real.
Yep. Yep. All right. Those are the three questions. What surprised you when creating your vision? Which part of your board speaks the loudest? And what part still feels scary and foreign?
Yep.
Good job, Sharon. Good
That's what part still feels scary and foreign. Yep. Good questions.
job. Hmm.
Very good. Very, that introspective work is so important.
Right.
So important because truth be told, we live on the surface of ourselves and of life, right? Because and this is therapist speak, but when we one of the things that we all as human beings fear is going to that vulnerable place,
Hmm.
right? That's the place where our subconscious live. Our outward behavior is a manifestation of what's going on in our subconscious. And our subconscious is what we are not aware of, right? And you go to therapy, it brings the subconscious to the conscious. Now that I'm aware of it, I can change it.
Hmm.
So
That's
if we're not dealing with the subconscious, we're living on the surface where our secondary emotions are. But
correct.
the primary emotions are rooted in the subconscious. And that's where all of our issues lie,
Right.
in those primary emotions, core emotions that are in our subconscious, that our outward manifested behavior is coming from. So, say
Correct.
when we say that person is angry, they punch the wall, we know that they're angry, right? But now, typically, anger can be a primary emotion, but most of the time it's secondary. That
Secondary.
means there's something under it. Right?
Absolutely.
That anger is just how it was displayed,
Mhm. And you
right?
might
But there's
feel like
some
you
form of
always be
hurt.
dismissed. Right. Dismissed.
Right.
Or
Exactly. And
right.
so if
Ignored.
you just live on the surface of the anger,
Right.
you've got an anger management problem. And you do have a problem managing your anger, right?
Right.
But it's so much more than that.
Right.
It's deeper than that. That's just how the issue is manifesting itself,
Yeah.
right? So if we always live there, we never get to the core of the issue. We never get to. That's why we're going to always be angry. And okay, yeah, we can get coping skills, but coping skills are coping skills. We're coping with, yeah, I don't want to cope, I want to be healed.
Yes.
I
I
don't
don't
want
want
to, I
to
don't
get
want to just cope. Let's say I want to be healed,
that's
right?
right.
But
That's
we got
right.
to go through that vulnerable place
Mhm.
where the issues lie, where the hurt lies, where the trauma is, right?
Yeah.
Where I was abused, right? Where I was neglected, where I was abandoned, and it scarred me.
Hmm.
We got to go there
Yeah.
in order to
Ignored.
really get to that place. And that's the vulnerable place where we don't
Oh,
want to
that
go.
word. Oof, that word.
Right. That's every human being. We don't want
Yeah.
to be vulnerable.
We don't want people to see us that way. That's our defense mechanism.
Hmm.
For
Hmm.
sure. For sure.
Right. And so if we live on the surface, when we're in relationship, we're living on the surface of all of our relationships. Because I'm not saying, I don't know how she's going to feel if I say that, or what if she, takes offense, or I don't want to say, or what, all this stuff. It's just
Yeah.
like, when are we going to go there? But now, again, this is information that most people don't even know because they don't go to therapy,
Or when you
right?
say these
You just
things,
no,
people are like,
I'm
well,
good.
well, why are you saying that? All that, like, well, this is how I feel. These are my
Exactly.
feelings. I'm human, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And let me
Mhm.
just give you one a piece of information that I always think is so helpful is when I say it to my clients in session, they're just, you can give some psychoeducation and
Right.
minds can be blown just from psychoeducation,
Correct.
right? We haven't even delved into all the right. There's
Mhm.
five primary emotions. Remember, say live on the surface of your relationships or of your life because we only know how we're obviously outwardly manifesting what it is we're doing, right? I am angry, punch the wall. I know I'm angry. That's the outward behavior. Again, rooted in something else. There's only five primary emotions where all capital A, capital L, all of our issues lie. Five,
Mhm.
just five. Fear, shame, disgust, sadness, and joy. So, of course, if we're talking about issues, we can put joy to the side. Fear, shame, disgust, and sadness. Every issue you have in life, one or multiples of those is the root. So if you haven't figured out and delved deep to that vulnerable area to
Mhm.
figure out whether it's fear, shame, disgust, or sadness, you're living on the surface
Mhm.
and you'll never be healed fully because you didn't deal with the root.
Right.
Going back to one or multiples of those four is the
Right.
root.
Right.
You got to trace it back to its origin, which a lot of times is childhood, and what was the emotion attached to that trauma, that scarring, that issue, right? So when you trace it back, what was the emotion? Fear, shame, disgust, or sadness. Now you know that's the root. That's where the healing needs to take place.
Right.
I just gave you some information right there.
Right. Gotcha. Let's do it, y'all. Let's do this work.
That's
Let's
right.
do this work. So
So
bring
your
it
vision board is a
down.
reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's why what Romain is doing is taking us through ourselves first,
Right.
right? So then the vision will look totally different than if I'm just going to put on a piece of paper, pictures and words of, oh, I want this in 2026,
Right.
And not that that doesn't have a place,
Yeah.
but it's not.
What's your
It's not
intention?
meeting you at the core of
Yeah.
who you really are and where you really want to go,
This is
right?
correct.
And who you really want to be, because you talked about identity right from the beginning.
Right.
And that's huge. We carry our traumas everywhere we go. They become a part of our identity if you know it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Do we really want our trauma to be part of our identity? That's
And
why
it,
we need to go to therapy and get healed from that because it's speaking for you when you speak. It's
mhm.
coming out in your behavior, whether you know it or not. People might not be saying
Showing up.
anything to you. They saying stuff behind your back,
Right. It's showing up.
right?
It's showing
Because
every
we
time
see
you
it.
run.
We see
Right.
it. It's not hidden.
And it's little traumas and there's big traumas, right?
Absolutely.
Doesn't it
Absolutely.
could be on a different surface of just abuse and the things that's really
Hmm.
just horrific, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but some of those things that cause our behaviors to change, our personalities to change, the way we interact socially
Hmm.
with ourselves. So these are some of the things that do come up. And um, one of the things that, as we're talking about being specific, you know, I could be a worry wart of certain things, right?
Hmm.
Comes from some other stuff, right? So reminding myself not only just to worry less, but be mindful. Why am I worrying about this particular thing at this point?
Hmm.
Is it unsettling? Is it causing someone harm, etc.? And worry can also just be a factor that will affect you physically, right?
Hmm.
So when we think about all these things being aligned and being intentional, right? So the worry less part can say, hey, because I want to be here longer on this earth.
Because that's stress.
I want to be here for my kids, etc. And if I get to the point of so quote unquote worrying, you know, little things, big things, whatever it is, right? Let me break that down a little bit, a little further. So
Hmm.
what we mean about being, really diving in a little bit on your vision
Hmm.
board and where you want to go instead of
Right.
popping things on there is we don't want it to look like a collage. We don't want it to look like a stress task. We want to be
Yes.
really specific on this, right?
Hmm.
Because when you're looking at it each and every day, you're looking at it and you're being ready. It's kind of like when you go for a job interview. What's one of besides how much money we're going to make, right? But
Right.
when you ask them, you want to know what's the job description.
Hmm.
You want them to be very specific because when you go to work, you're going to be very specific
Hmm.
on meeting at least those expectations. You
Right.
might go up and beyond, and that's wonderful, right? And reach the next level, but you want to make sure you're hitting those marks. And that's what we're asking
Mm-hmm.
you to do, is being very specific on where you want to go and where you are
Yeah.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
yep. Good job. We're gonna see you guys next week. Where we at, Sharon? What we gonna do?
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
So awesome, Elaine. Thank you so much for lending your expertise
Yeah.
to the audience today, and making us think,
Yeah.
making us do some self-reflection and introspection, which is just always necessary, not at the end of the year, in the beginning of the
Yeah.
year round. We need to do this. I tell my clients, you need to update your goals on at minimum a quarterly basis, but monthly, I
Yeah.
say, for real, because 30 days goes by so quickly, and you be like, man, I didn't even do anything in those 30 days.
Yeah.
Right. So keep it, in the forefront of your mind. I
Right.
know I got to update this in the month. That gives us spurs us on, like, I got to come to myself in this mirror in 30 days to say if I did this right, or I got to, going to come back to my therapist and say, because I'm going to ask,
Yep.
right?
Accountable.
Let
And
me
that's
cancel that appointment because you didn't do it.
and then we're gonna process. We're not gonna, put shame or anything on. We
Oh,
just want to say,
absolutely.
well, what was the barrier this month? What
Mm-hmm.
stopped you? Let's
Right.
remove the guilt. Let's remove the shame, and let's
Mm-hmm.
discuss what really stopped you.
Because those things are legitimate.
Yeah, for sure,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
So we are just so super excited, and we
Yes.
will see each other next week.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right,
Yes.
as we wrap
For
up.
for
Mhm.
our final
Our fine.
episode of this. It's wrapping up, y'all. It's
I
wrapping up.
know, I know.
But we're happy that you joined us. If you joined us live on the replay, we are glad that you watched. If you watch on the replay and you have questions or comments, still put them in the chat, and I will get them over to Nikki so she can, Romain, I'm sorry,
Yes.
so she can answer them for you. But do come back next Thursday, 8 p.m. for Office Hours with Sharon, and Romain will be back for the final episode dealing with the Therapeutic Envisioning Experience, and wrapping up what it is that she has for us for our vision boards for 2026 and beyond. This is a life vision board, right?
Yes.
It's ever evolving with us.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
wonderful experience. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Romain. Love you, Romain. Love you, audience.
Oh,
And you guys have a God evening, a God week. Shalom.